welcome everybody to After the Flag, and revenge is very, very sweet for Jorge Martin this afternoon in Mandalika. 12 months on from losing a victory here to a crash, and 24 hours on from losing a potential victory to a crash on the very first lap. Jorge Martin did not slip up today. He took victory in the Indonesian Grand Prix and extends his championship lead back out as it stands at the moment to 21 points. We'll explain why there's a little bit of a caveat to that in just a moment. What there is absolutely no doubt about, though, Simon Crayford, as always, joining myself, Lewis Sotheby, to pick the bones of the Indonesian Grand Prix we saw, was that Jorge Martin, without question this weekend, was the fastest rider. Still one or two questions whether Enea Bastianini might have had an answer for him at the end of the race, but Martin righting the wrongs of yesterday.
Martin was perfect today, wasn't he? He was so quick on the hard front medium rear at the beginning. No one could match him. He was absolutely brilliant. So
satisfied the requirements be within the parameters. What about KTM?
I'm led to believe they do as well, at least have a warning if they are under. But I suppose you still don't know
How far under?
yes, whether you made it or not. The other important thing to point out is it makes a huge difference if you're behind someone or not. And the crew chief, when setting that front pressure, I would imagine thought Pedro would be behind someone and set the pressure for that, which is a bit lower because of the extra heat, and he was behind no one, most of the race. So that probably played a part in it.
So as it stands, Pecco Bagnaia is in third place. A good recovery given that he was as low as 6th or 7th in the early stages. Let's get his reaction now with Matt.
Yeah, the world champion is here, Pecco Bagnaia. Pecco, you know how hard it is to win MotoGP races anyway, with a good start. But today, again, we clearly saw that you had some issue launching away off the line. I mean, that's something you're going to have to sort out in these final few Grand Prix.
As soon as possible, because in the last two seasons, it was always perfect from the start. And in the last three Grand Prix from Aragon, that four Grand Prix, that I'm starting every time in a different way and every time bad. So again, today was different than yesterday. Yesterday was not too bad, but this morning was good. This afternoon again, I wheel it and then spin it. So lucky was that I didn't lose too much positions, but I was a bit too careful in the first lap and I lost position. So my mistakes there, but was an intense race because my pace was very fast, but when I was behind the group, I was struggling a lot with the front tire to brake hard and nothing. I was losing time. Behind Bezzecchi was almost impossible to overtake it. With the GP23, they have a bit more traction than us, and that was tough. And as soon as I overtook him, Frankie was much easier because with the same bike, I was knowing much more what was happening. But tough, really tough. Finishing third today is a good result. We gained 3 points in the championship from the start, and this is okay.
Yeah, when you're rescuing a podium after a very tough race, Pecco, you know you're doing a good job. I mean, it was strange at the start of the Grand Prix as well, because of all that lead group with the medium rear tyre, it looked like you and Enea were struggling really, having to wait a little bit for it to come in. I mean, was that an issue that you were also having in those sort of first 6 or 7 laps? Because once you found your rhythm, you were both incredibly fast.
For me, it's because when you are in front with no one in the front, you can compensate. You can compensate the lack of the rear grip in the braking, gaining a lot there. And if you are behind that you can't brake hard, you can push like you want, and the rear tire is maybe not ready. Maybe something with the GP24 that is more like this when you are behind, but. After 5-6 laps, I was back in my pace. I was quite strong, but I missed the first 5 laps.
And just looking at Enea, I mean, obviously, it was almost like Emilio Romagna last weekend, where he was just like you, incredibly fast in that point of the race, running in third place where he made the mistake. And what about that battle as well? I mean, what was it like when you're racing Morbidelli and Bezzecchi, because you know them so well?
I'm sorry for Enea, because I think it's something that this season is happening very much. You are pushing, you feel very good, you are doing what you have done all the weekend, and you crash like this, with without advice, without movement. So it's something that happened many times to me, to Organ, to pets, so to Bestia. So I think it's something related to our bike that is a huge performance, but we have to understand better this thing, mix it with the new tires for surely. So.
But maybe the tyres last better because of it. But that overtake on Frankie, how he used the right height device where you don't normally drop to get the extra acceleration, then brake, put it back in position. Amazing work, very clever thinking on the run.
Well, none of them could beat Jorge Martin in the end today. What is in absolutely no doubt is that Jorge Martin is your Indonesian Grand Prix winner, and that's with him.
Yeah, he is finally the master of Mandalika after the disappointment of last year, after the disappointment of yesterday in the sprint. Jorge, I think it's fair to say you finally got revenge on Mandalika. Huge congratulations. What a win.
Yeah, thank you very much. As you said, I got revenge from Mandalika. Last season was, after last season crash, today was a difficult race. After yesterday crash also. After 13 laps, I had some ghost. Trying to push a bit more every race, every lap, sorry. Yeah, Costa was incredible. He was pushing, even the laps that I was trying to make a gap, he was staying at under 1 second, so for sure he's strong, and yeah, I'm happy that I could perform really good.
I don't say dogs that keeps biting your ankle will never go away. I mean, you had a gap of over 2 seconds at one point. It did come down to 6 tenths. I mean, did you always feel like you were in control and able to manage it quite comfortably?
Yeah, I mean, I try to be calm always. I try to be my best version, and even if the rider behind is 1/10 or 8, the important thing is to do the same things. I didn't try to change or push more or less. I was on my maximum, so it was Pedro who was catching and making mistakes. I was trying to do always the exact thing. This is the way that I try to perform a bit better.
A great race for the championship, a great race after what happened yesterday. Jorge, just talk us through the celebration at turn 16. I think on that last lap, I could have gone quicker through turn 16 than what you did. You were so cautious, and then on the slowdown lap, all the marshals mobbing you, kissing the tarmac. I mean, that must have felt so sweet.
So yeah, I know it wasn't really original because Pecco did something. So thanks also to the Indonesian fans because they are fantastic. But the important thing is that I was able to arrive to the podium and to went through that corner more than 27 laps. So I'm so happy.
One race less. Of course, we go to Japan next weekend where you were fantastic last season, Jorge, the double win. So you go there with a lot of confidence.
So the confidence is you need to build it from zero every race weekend. This weekend we started on Friday. I didn't touch a click on the bike. It was impressive. But we need to go, a bit more humble next time. We will start and then understand what we need to be fast. But for sure, will be another story.
And you have to pay for the screen out of the win bonus?
So I won't pay for the screen. Now it's like a tradition. Every time I win, I broke the screen. But for sure, I will pay for the tequila for the team today.
I'm sure you got a few more broken screens. Well done, Jorge. Well done.
There'll be a few from Prima Pramac nursing hangovers on the flight over to Japan tonight or tomorrow. Jorge Martin has led the World Championship largely since the early part of the European season. There was that spell where he lost the lead when he crashed at the Sachsenring, but generally he's had the edge. But he hadn't won on a Sunday since the French Grand Prix. How much, knowing Jorge Martin like you do, would that have nagged away at him? Because, of course, the big prize is the MotoGP World Championship, but these guys exist to win, and he hadn't done much of that since Le Mans.
Yeah, and he was so good. I mean, he was so good in Misano, almost won it. Then this weekend, yesterday, Saturday, unreal. He was so fast, so good, and just blew it on the first lap, and on that slippery corner. And I've been saying since Thursday when I rode it, it is slippery. We had a lot of crashes there, and you do have to take a little bit more care. It's like the grip level is lower there than the rest of the track. It's part of a rider's job, to figure out. But Jorge, to me, tonight, listening to him speak is a step stronger. I think, he said we've got to be a little bit more humble. He was brilliant today. Really, really good. And he was famously angry last night. He wasn't good with us press. He was rude, but he wasn't helpful. He was hurting. And to come out, like he said, with all those ghosts and, do the job.
He was
like
thinking about it every single lap of the race through turn 16 and for the second half of the race as well through turn 11 where he crashed last year. The ghosts were certainly there, but they've been certainly banished now for Jorge Martin. Of course, we head to Motegi next where he did the double last year, once in the dry and the sprint and then in the wet, of course, in the race on the Sunday. In close contention, Martin and Bagnaia, who've both, I guess, proven this weekend why they're so strong, but also why you can't necessarily predict they'll win it with any great confidence, because
Mark breaking the engine, that was the moment you went, oh dear, his charge back to the front is halted, And Anea, I said this morning with some colleagues that I believed he could win because he had the speed of Jorge, it was at different times of the race, but he had less to lose, and I think that less to lose actually made him end up in the gravel, trying to determinedly come back and win. The thing is, I either said to you or Jack at the last show we did together, when I got asked, is Pecco, on the way back, it's so unpredictable. As soon as one of them gets an edge, the other one, wins, and the one with the edge falls off, and then it's reversed the next weekend. So, really, it's just...
Team Lab's going to ultimately decided this year who makes the fewest mistakes.
Well, because they're all very good. Dead right, whether it's, like I said, an engine brake or a crash from Manea or a fall from one of the other two that keep doing it, So it's going to be super hard, but to me, it's very unpredictable. It's looking like Pecco and Martin now, yes.
No information on whether there will be a penalty for Pedro Acosta for his tyre pressure infraction, if there is indeed one. He's one of 3 riders, incidentally, who are under investigation. Taka Nakagami and Brad Binder are the others. Of course, if you're watching us on demand afterwards, you'll already know what happened. So MotoGP social media channels are the place to go if you are watching us live and want the information first. 2 riders up at the sharp end today who went for the soft front tyre, and I guess will feel vindicated by their decision. Frankie Morbidelli 4th, which may yet become 3rd place, and Marco Bezzecchi right behind him at the end. Both did very good jobs today.
Yeah, brilliant. It's clearly how they ride and set the bike up, because most riders would say that was impossible. For example, you'd have to have softer springs even, and be softer on the way you brake to make that happen, or maybe less weight on the front, because most riders just say it cannot cope with it. Some of them even saying 1 lap and the thing's squashing and won't turn, so I can do qualifying, but that's it. And they did the whole race in that heat.